Well, this is Books and Authors, and I'm Dr. Singleton Jeffrey. And today we're talking to William Brower and his friends of many years, back even to high school, isn't it?
Yep, very much so.
It's absolutely amazing. Anyway, we want to talk more about the book and so forth. So are you ready?
I'm just setting up. I'm trying to... Okay, you're on.
Mr. Brower, tell us about your new book and the friends that helped you continue writing now. Also, your new book is represented by these, the Dragon's Bane.
Well, yes, they are actually. The Dragon's Bane series originated back in high school in ninth grade.
Louder.
And I've been very fortunate enough because of the fact of having very artistic friends. Paul Valdez is a musician. Dan Sacro is also a fellow musician and artist. And back in the days, they used to review the manuscript and give me my critique about it.
Well, what about these two? Did they do any helping to you? Or?
Well, yes, they have.
This is also one of your Dragon's Bane pictures, right?
Yep.
That's really good. That's quite something. Okay, you actually wrote that book and your classmates really supported you and in school.
Well, yes, they have. In fact, with Lisa Lamb over the spring break of 1991, we did an all-night writing session. And during that session, I was able to write the ending of the first book of Dragon's Bane. It was a little bit of a tedious time. I was going through writer's block for about 3 weeks. And so she had given some creative advice. Can you hear him?
Okay. You think it's going to be okay on both cameras? All right. We can edit that. Well, then you later wrote a play. Tell us about that.
Well, after high school, I took my interest in the Titanic and I wrote a one-man play. And I called it Titanic, The Legacy Remains. And it was a 45-minute to 1-hour presentation. I started off by doing it at Borders Books.
Where?
Borders Books of Coral Springs.
Oh, bookstore over there.
Yes.
And how did that work out?
That was a phenomenal event. We drew in 500 people and gave them the largest sales date outside of Black Friday.
That was quite impressive. Those people must have really liked you after that, huh?
Oh, that they did.
Now I understand you wore a costume.
Yes, during the Titanic event, I had 3 different costumes.
Oh, really?
One was a crew member, one was as the captain of the ship, and one was a member of steerage.
So you had a lot of very attentive audience there. Someone also told me the manager of the store even dressed up.
Yes, he did. He ended up dressing up as the captain of the ship and even powdered his beard just for the occasion.
Well, now you've done your third exciting event, Chronicles of the Dragon's Bane book. It's now published and being sold, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
So all you people got a copy of it?
Yes, sir. Yes, I have a copy, and I've read it, and I love it.
Oh, wow. What about you, Paul?
Got a copy of it, read it, excellent book.
Good. Well, you've helped him for years, right?
Very much so.
Good. The future of this book, William, you and your friends wanted to become a television program, is that what I hear?
Yes, we're actually in the early production phases of it. We've just acquired an animator, and we're going to take it to the next level and do a television series, predominantly for teenagers. So we're thinking Cartoon Network type.
This animator, what's his name? Is he good? Has he done this kind of thing before?
Yes, he has. He's got about 7 years of animation work behind him for the television aspect.
What's his name?
Barry Long.
What?
Barry Long.
Well, good. I hope that he really does a good job for you. Now, William and your friends, what's it about the book that keeps them motivated? You people are the ones that motivate them, aren't you?
Our ideas,
Huh?
ideas, and our support.
He draws a lot from his own life experiences.
You what?
He draws a lot from his own life experiences.
So, what makes Dragon's Bane different from other fantasy novels?
It's written like an epic.
It's what?
It's written like an epic poem, like an epic poem instead of a book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what do you do? You motivate, your friends have motivated him, and
We've all pretty much recognized from within the earlier years of our high school years, from when he had first started this, there was an educational purpose and principle that was guiding him on what he was doing that we all had seeked out interest in upon his application. There's a lot of individuals that are behind him aside of us in commitment of his efforts. And when we started recognizing that he wanted to do an epic poem on the event of what he is doing, it had a whole different interest, a twist to it, and you just could not help yourself but to be behind him and help him the best way you possibly could to see him get through on it, because it was very intriguing, and especially the concepts through, as they had mentioned, and Dan as well, as far as with his life experiences of what was going on around him, actually gave him an extra sense of propulsion and dignity of what he was doing to get him to pretty much where we are now.
Well, what about the teacher now? What, the teacher helped you in the early days when you were writing that first book about the students. Who was that?
Her name was Carol Sorrell. And,
Is she still a teacher?
Yes, she is, actually. She's a substitute teacher these days.
I see. And she, how did she help you?
Well, she caught me writing in the notebook in class one day and thought that I wasn't paying attention. And when she realized and started flipping through and saw that it was a consistent manuscript, she made a deal that as long as I incorporate the lessons of the day into the notebook, I can write the story.
Well, that was very understanding, wasn't it?
Indeed.
Wow. So, what do you think about the battle scenes in this book? Lisa, are they too graphic?
Oh, no way.
They what?
They're awesome. You picture them in your head.
Really?
Oh, yeah. It's
So if
like
you make it into a movie, it'll be
yeah, it's like
devastating.
a spinning movie in my head when I read it.
Well, what's it about the writing that compelled you to volunteer and keep pushing him and making him achieve this?
Because he's passionate about it.
You what?
He's passionate about writing. He just loves to do it.
You see someone with that
Well, he
degree of
must do it,
motivation.
but a lot of times if nobody's around, nobody's supporting you, it's hard to keep moving ahead, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I'm a writer myself, and it's impossible to move ahead. He's the only support I have. And Paul, and Cindy.
Well, that's good. You all have that ability, huh? Bob?
When you see someone with that degree of motivation, it's infectious. You want to help them out.
Well, motivation is very, very important. Creative thinking and motivation, and that's how he's accomplished all this so far. And now I understand you're actually writing something on the side even before you finish your next book
Yeah, I'm.
about the people or something.
Well, it's a combination of the people and the backstory behind the story, and is what I'm calling it. And it's how I came up with the concept of Dragon's Bane, and also everyone that has helped me along the way and what their contribution was.
So now this is Cindy, and this is,
Lisa.
speak up,
Lisa.
Lisa, and this is Bob and Paul. Okay, well, but you had several other people that were really pushing for you too, right?
Yes, I have.
And even where you were working in the company up here in the area, you had people there that were interested in always helping you.
Very much so I did.
So
And-
people that are creative and so forth, they really need people to help them, don't they? Motivate them.
It always helps. I mean, you can only go so far by yourself.
Well, I wanted to ask you, would you want children to read this book? I mean, can children read it? What age group are you writing this for?
I'm actually writing this more towards the young adult age,
14 or?
14 to 21.
I see. So teens can benefit from reading it or seeing it on television, is that correct?
Yes.
Has William motivated or returned your support to you?
Oh, yeah. He's giving
that
me
right?
ideas.
Very much
Feel
so.
it.
It's been nonstop.
Don't fall asleep, Bob.
Who's Bob?
Do you feel that William's writing can motivate others to pursue their dreams, Paul?
I tell you what, that's most definitely, because it helped me in aid of mine. Ever since the get-go, since he started writing, as a musician and also a composer, it has aided myself in the music that I've written, lyrics I've written, different projects that I've fabricated, and back and forth through all these years, most definitely. It's not just itself as far as with the book, it's the concepts that he applies that made the book, that have also in turn have made myself and the different things that I've produced as well.
Well, if a person doesn't have the support of his friends, why, he has a hard road to travel, doesn't he?
Very much so, and he definitely has all of us behind him due to the fact of that.
Wow. So Cindy, you've been supporting him for a long time?
Yeah, I've been with him going on 18 years.
18 years,
Yeah, and
wow.
helping him along, making sure he keeps going on and typing and writing the book and keep focused, and if he needs music or anything, make sure he gets that to help him write the book.
And if I can interject on that.
Go ahead.
My personal favorite, and it's a definite example of support, and that's that if I have an idea and we have plans to go out to dinner, 9 times out of 10 I'll ask her to give me 5 minutes, go sit in front of the computer and type, and I'll get lost in what I'm working on, look at the clock, it's been 18 hours. So we'll go to dinner at 4 o'clock in the morning and she's never complained.
Well, that's wonderful, having cooperation.
Yes.
Thank you. How many minutes is that? Okay, most of all, keeping him hidden, but he's a good talker. So tell us about the side thing that you're doing now, this side short book or whatever.
Well, I'm actually focusing in the origins of Dragon's Bane, what inspired me to create and make the attempt at writing an epic poem for the first time in 1,000 years. And also, more importantly though, it's also the friends that have helped me within the past 18 years of development.
So you're going to include all of them in this short book, or what?
Yes.
How many pages do you anticipate this is going to be?
As soon as it's finished.
As soon as it's finished. It's not going to talk about it.
Yeah, you don't want to put yourself in a box.
But you already are working on your second book, your main book. Is that Chronicles of the Dragon's Bane 2, or what?
Yes, it is. It's actually volume 2. And right now I'm just about 100 pages into it. So,
Okay, and the first one was what, 250?
yes. Yeah, so the origin book that I'm working on now is my side project, just to keep the creative juices flowing for the most part.
Yeah, because sometimes a writer gets stymied a little bit, and you need something fresh that you're working on. Is that the idea?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, just like with anyone that's all involved in the art field, they get a writer's block, musician's block. It happens very frequently. And you know, this is just my way of stepping back and reanalyzing the bigger picture.
Now, this fellow that's doing the animation, what's his name again?
Oh, Barry Long.
Barry
Long.
Long. Now, he's done this before,
Yes, he has.
and has he shown you any of his work? Has he started doing something on your book yet?
Yes, he's actually produced the first 3 sets of film cells to be transferred over and digitized.
Is he going to create any new artwork to go in the television program? Because some of your artwork, I notice, not these 2 pieces, but they're just line drawings.
Yes. Now, basically for what he's starting off with is going to be a 2-minute short to just do a test run and also use that as a pilot piece to show to investors within the networks.
And that's going to establish the beginning of the movie, or?
Yes, it will. It's going to actually be the opening scenes of the series itself that he's working on, and he's taking the music that Paul had done and using that as the background.
Good. Tell me more about Paul's music, and then I'm going to ask Paul a bit about this, because I remember that Paul has somebody else working with him, and I'd like to know more about Paul's. Is it a group or what that you have?
It's a group.
And what's the name of it?
Deck Lid Casket.
It's what?
Deck Lid Casket.
Now, tell me about this. This grew with him?
Well, Declan Casket is developing quite the reputation within the South Florida area. And creatively, they sound very similar to Ministry.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow, that's very good. He looks a little shy there, but it's something that's really going to contribute to your movie, is that correct?
Very much so it will. In fact, their one track, which is the one that we're using for the animation piece, is called Edgewood Thermal, actually has a dragon's roar in the background, among other factors. So it's a combination of music and art blended together.
Good. In this story, Chronicles of the Dragon's Bane, is it just dragons, or are there real people in it, or what?
Well,
Tell us something about it.
Well, there's real people. There's dragons very briefly. They make an appearance in the first story and then they vanish. And otherwise, the rest of the characters are all based on various world mythologies, with a very heavy reference to Egyptian mythology.
Have you had anyone that, now that the book is published, review the book and tell you what they think about it, or give you any new ideas, or?
Actually, I've been getting a lot of customer responses from BarnesandNoble.com. And
Barnes & Noble has the book?
Yes. And
Who else has it?
Borders has it, and Amazon.com, of course.
So the three people. Now, I understand that they sell a lot on the web or the internet now. So do these companies put their list of books that they want to sell on the internet?
Yes, they do.
Have you done anything to put it on the internet, or?
Well, yes. The book is already available online. And then to help promote it further, I've developed a marketing video myself, taking the illustrations from the book and throwing it together with music.
No, so have you decided to put some additional artwork in the television program to make it more colorful?
We're going to be doing that as well too. Another one of my friends that I went to school with, her name is Rayut Cohen, is actually taking over as the new illustrator. And one of her repertoires is wildlife prints.
Wildlife?
Yes.
What about drawing people and colorful scenes of wildlife and people?
She's worked with both, but her strongest point is with animals, which is exactly the angle that we were hoping for.
So all you people have been contributing to this book and all of his writing over the years with ideas and punching him up and saying, come on, do more and finish it up and so forth. Is that right?
Yeah, and he's done the same thing to me, although I'm slow at
He
it.
helps you too?
Yeah, he helps me too, but I need to process faster. But it was hard for me, because ideas get lost, and I forget them, or I don't do what I'm supposed to fast enough. But I know he'll always be there.
Did you ever talk to Cindy about it?
No, I probably should though.
Yeah, you should, because she's a woman and she's so close to him. And Cindy, actually, I understand that she is a person that's really being right next to his wife to make something happen, help. And because when someone has someone close to them and really working with them and is positive, that's how people are able to create things. I saw something on the newspaper and television today that people were talking about all that, helping each other and being more positive and creative. Because you're creative, you're writing the music and you're performing and so forth. And what's Bob doing?
Bob is sitting here. No.
For what?
One of the interesting things about this is we had separate classes in high school, but we would always meet each other in the halls. So he would scribble down some ideas on a note and pass it to me, and then 2 periods later I get back to him with my feedback. That was kind of how we developed a lot of the early stuff in high school.
That's good.
Yeah.
Bouncing ideas off of each other in high school and over the years, because how many years has it been since you were in high school? You've been doing this over and over, and it's a wonderful thing that has helped you keep on creating. And if other people realize that they would reach out to their friends and it would help them grow. Is that correct?
Yes,
That's the goal anyway.
that is the ultimate goal.
Mhm.
What?
That's the ultimate
You
goal.
too?
Yeah. But I've
All right.
known him 20 plus years.
You what?
I said I've known him for quite a while.
20 years?
Even before Cindy.
You all went to high school?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
Yep.
That's amazing. That's a long time. Well, when are you going to finish the second book, The Dragon's Bane #2, volume 2?
I anticipate to have that done by the middle of December.
Oh, I see.
It's not going to take 20 years.
No, it's not. It better not take 20 years. Okay. Well, listen, you have some supporters here, which is marvelous.
Very much so I do.
Absolutely, and you certainly have a group here that's very supportive of you. And I hope that I've always been supporting you in every way I can, because I'd like to see people that write books and are creative to go forward, keep going forward. And the music, I think the music really helps any kind of person that's writing a book and gets the music and thinks about television and so forth. It's really helpful to them.
For the most part, what BJ had came with from the get-go, such as what Bob had mentioned in the hallways, it was interesting. It was almost like our little briefing in between classes. Dan would get a piece of different things. Bob, excuse me, Bob. Bob would get a couple of pieces of different things. I would get a bit, and we would all, at the end of the day, pretty much sit and talk about after what we were scribbling in class. And as far as the music, he'd given me a driving force. Not necessarily I have not had any complex of a writer's block, but at the same time, the material that BJ had been putting together, all the material that everybody else in participation had with their ideas, gave me a guideline to not only what I was putting together for myself, but also for with him.
Well, the writing of the...
Very much so. It was a group effort of energy, really, and it had a very wonderful outcomes, without a doubt. The music, particularly with the book and description that BJ had described, it was pretty much upon the essence of the characters, almost the same principle as Peter and Wolf. The music had started off as music before the lyrics and the vocals that came into play. It was all pretty much in pretense of the attitude of the characters and the demeanor and description of the book. The music was written per character in the book all at the same time, so it all had a format about the book and about the characters, which had opened up a bunch of different avenues in the material that I was writing, not only just for the book, but also for the projects that I had been working on. So it's been a great influence between all of us as a group and also as individuals with each other on what we've done with BJ's efforts on with the book. So the music definitely does have a significance with the book and also in part of everybody else that's here.
it's inspiring. All this is inspiring because you're all helping each other, and it bounces back and forth, and it's motivating.
Everybody's part that has been exuded as a reflection upon each other. What everybody has done between music that I have created, BJ's writing, Lisa's writing, and her efforts on assistance and elsewise. Dan with the parts that he has participated. Bob that has on what he has participated on, and when it really, with the book and with the music, without everybody contributing and backing each other on what they were doing, it would have been kind of a bit not as difficult, but knowing from what BJ's writing in the book itself, it would have been a bit different, but it actually adds a greater energy behind the book itself.
Yeah.
And
do you have somebody else working with you in the band that writes and so forth?
I have a couple of, as a matter of fact, a good handful of different people that are in part of this project with the music that are aiding and assisting me. The main composer itself, I do all the composing between the melody, the music, the lyrics, the vocals, and the individuals that are behind me are taking in part and support with what I'm doing as a group.
Well, so it's always better to join with some people and create than some of these people that try to go it alone
Oh,
and
absolutely.
sit at home and
That's
so
how you
forth.
improve at
Which
everything. Is go out there and find
Exactly.
people that are good at what you want to get good at.
The whole idea is that the people that are in support with this book musically, that are friends of ours, they understood that this is not a typical story that needs a cookie cutter musical type of application. Then they recognized that there was a lot of differences of how it was being put together, and they took very special interest in the book and also the story itself. They read the book thoroughly, and we've had many consultations and meetings about the different areas of how, with each character, with the music, on the intensity of the music, the particular characters, of where they are, what they're doing, in part of how the music was going to be applied
Right.
upon per section of the book, and also back and forth within the book. So if you listen to the music, again, like I've stated, it's like the Peter and the Wolf type of method. If you actually listen to the music and go along with the book, the storyline of the book, and how BJ had laid it out, it actually has an interesting twist to it when you listen to the music, if you were to separate the music from with the book. Because
It travels together.
It travels together. I mean, you can listen to the music, and the music is the music, but if you do not read the book, and you don't put the music together, both together with the
Yes.
book, it doesn't. You'll hear the music, go, wow, it's great music. But if you read the book and then listen to the music and understand the parts of the music by the title of what it pertains to, the music becomes so much more interesting, and also makes the book that much more interesting.
Complements each other very well.
Very well. It works hand in hand. It all works hand in hand, and that was pretty much the lead that we were working with to make it happen.
I used to sit in Hollywood studios in California and watch a big orchestra, and they watch the movie,
Exactly.
and that's what you're
Exactly.
saying.
And we're all, in my studio, we all actually sat around, a good 8 of us, and have taken the book and have gone through the book upon the different chapters and have reviewed what each character is doing with what one character is taking part with the other character, and took lots of time to back and forth to figure out, okay, this is what this part is, this is what this part is doing. We're trying to figure out how we want to start and stop the execution of different areas, measures, the list goes on. But there's a lot of nitpicking that we took, a lot
Yeah,
of special
imagine.
interest, because in the end, all the effort that's put into it, we didn't want to do it like as a general production where, okay, soundtrack, all right, done, it's just a project. I mean, we have a very special interest, and the people that are working with me have not known BJ anywhere near as long as we all have, and I've been working with them probably for about maybe a year. And when they saw the book, they were real hesitant. They're like, okay, But I was like, read the book and you'll understand what I'm talking about. The second they got through the first chapter, they were banging on my door going, yeah, we want to do this. And it kind of took me by surprise. I mean, I was expecting interest, but to the level of degree of enthusiasm that fell behind it, I was pretty astounded.
Well, you were
And
learning something all along too.
Pretty much. I actually had a foresight of what I was expecting, but the expectations that came in front of me when we got started was very amazing.
Very good.
The efforts and enthusiasm that came behind the support that was put behind on my end with the soundtrack, I can't say enough for. Seriously.
Have you ever seen anything that Lisa did?
Oh, most certainly.
Huh?
Most certainly. She's an excellent writer. She deserves more credit than she gives herself, without a doubt.
Well, you really work together, all you people. You really give something to each other and so forth, which is a marvelous thing, and all your friends and supporters in the background have done that too. It's really marvelous. Well, the last word for each one of you. What's the last word for books?
The book shocked me, but it was exceptionally good. And very easy to read because it flowed.
Easy to read. Okay.
I'm so glad he likes to write and keeps up with it and keeps going with more books and
Stimulating.
tries to keep stimulating his brain and move on to another one.
Wow.
The second book is going to be a lot darker than the first one, but
Oh,
it's a lot more
boy.
fun.
Will everybody like them?
Yes.
Last word.
I'm really proud of him. A lot of people say that they're going to write a book, or that they're writing a book, or that one day they're going to eventually write a book, but very few actually do it. So
Yeah.
to see it sitting here in a finished format is amazing.
A lot of people talk about I'm going to write a book, but they never do.
Oh, the I'm gonna people, yeah. There's a lot of I'm gonna people.
Well, you got music, you got friends, and you got creative people around you all the time. No wonder you're progressing and keeping on moving and creating new things and so forth. I think that's marvelous. What's your last word there, Paul?
My last words, I can't say enough about how everything has come together. I mean, granted, it seems like a long time for it being put together, but actually all the effort that has come behind it, the support that everybody has partaken in and has given, and it's really, and the essence of it wasn't which hand washed the other, it was a soap that counted, and it did a very well and a fine job of the accomplishment for what we have now. And there's nothing really, anything more that's exhilarating than having a group that we've been together for so long and have been entrusted with friends, and even friends that are our friends that have supported us on this is incredible. Very incredible.
Well, that's good. So we've got Frank and Jason shooting this, taping this show for us and putting it all together, and eventually we're going to have some DVDs and sell them, pass them out, whatever, and it's going to really keep you moving on. Is that correct?
Very much so, yes.
Very good. I want to thank you very much for all of you coming and sitting down with us, and all your friends too. You're supporting. My goodness, that's what life is really all about, a positive group of people supporting each other and making something happen, right?
Absolutely.
Right, absolutely.
Okay, I want to thank you very much, and we will put this all together and see what we come up with. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.